Hi grandparents, my name is Jeremy Mann. I'm the head of school and one of the founders of the Field School. And I wanted to send you a special message on the day that was going to be Grandparents' Day, before there was a global pandemic. I wanted to reach out to you because we view what you do as a grandmother, grandfather, as so vitally important. Supporting the parents of our children and supporting them directly. We know many of you pray for them, you help with homework in many cases, you read to them. I know some of you are doing special things even now to care for this next generation. And we're so grateful for that. And we tell parents that we are just partners with them in the education of their children. And really, we're partners with you as well. Because when I think about grandparents, I remember that passage in Exodus where the Israelites, the people of God, are in this battle. And Moses, their leader, when he stretches out his hands, they're victorious. And when his hands droop, then they become defeated. And so he can't hold his hands up the whole time. He becomes weary. And so Joshua and Hur stand up on each side of him, and they hold up his hands. And that's partly what you do. You're sometimes directly involved, but you're caring in indirect ways. You're praying, you're giving words of advice, you're sometimes giving kind of a break or support or encouragement. I know many of you have been to the Field School before. I've met you maybe at previous Grandparents' Days, but if you're a new grandparent, I just want to tell you that we are grateful for the ways that you've partnered with us not even fully being conscious of the ways that you're helping. And I hope that you've seen a little bit during this last school year of the desire for excellence and this belief that God made an incredible world and that He equipped all of the children at our school to make a distinctive contribution in His kingdom, and that we're preparing them for that in the future, but they're also doing it right now. So recently I got word of a donation that one of our students had made. She gave $1 to this crisis relief fund that we started as a school. And I called her and I said, "Thank you so much for your $1. Where did you get this $1?" She said, "I was given that $1 by the Tooth Fairy, but I thought there were maybe people that needed it more than I did." That is so profound, and it's an example of the incredible grace that God gives to us, the way that He blesses us, and He calls us to share that blessing and to give it to other people. And as grandparents, you know that. That's the kind of lesson that you're trying to instill in your children and in your children's children. So I wanted to send a special message. We're going to put at the end of this video just a summary video that describes the mission that's distinctive at the Field School and kind of what we do and why we approach it the way we do. But I wanted to ask you to pray in particular during this season for our school. Some of our staff members and parents have contracted the virus. Some of them have been in the emergency room. And we would ask that you would pray for all of our families, that they would be safe, that they would be protected by the Holy Spirit, even in the midst of this global pandemic. I also would ask you to pray for the remainder of the school year. We're not quite to the end of the school year. We have been doing e-learning at home, where teachers send videos and messages. They correspond with various apps, and there's a lot of learning still going on. And we don't want our children to be behind when they start in the fall. And we want them to realize that the whole world is a classroom. You don't need to be in a particular building to learn. And we're seeing evidence of that, but we want to finish the whole school year strong. The third thing I'd ask you to pray for is just that God's Spirit would move powerfully in our school during this season. There's so many things that happen. New families signing up, relationships continuing into next year, families thinking about how they can serve one another during this unique time. Some families losing employment or not gathering with their churches or just desiring to serve God, however you would call them, in this unique season. And we want to be part of that. And we want to be recipients in our community of the distinctive thing that God is doing right now. And we believe there's challenges, but then there's also opportunities right now. And as a school, we want to be alert to those and seeing how God is calling us to be active as a school community internally and then also externally as well. So I hope that you would be praying for us. I hope that you have felt in some way a sort of blessing and partner with the Field School this year. And I hope that at some point I could meet you if I haven't already, or that you would feel a connection to what we do here. That just like the parents, you are partners with us. We are all working together to invest in the lives of these students. And we're so grateful for what you've done, some of the things we know, some of the things we don't know, and we view what you're doing as an extension of what we're hoping to do as well. So I hope you're blessed. I'm grieved that we can't gather in person, but maybe next year, and continue strong, putting your hope in the Lord. Thanks. The Field School is a classical Christian school on the west side of Chicago, and we exist so that any child in the city can have access to excellent education and experience being known and loved by God.
A lot of people don't know that schools are more segregated now than they were 50 years ago. There are so many children who live in the inner city who are negatively affected by this. So they do not have the integrated classrooms, integrated schools that encourage diversity.
As Christians, we really feel like it's our responsibility to take the lead on that.
The Field School brings to the front of the line students who normally would not have access to a robust, holistic education. We reserve at least half of our seats for children from low-income families. A quarter of the students come from families that earn less than $20,000 a year. On the other end, a quarter of the students come from families that earn more than $125,000 a year. But everyone benefits when we have a diverse school. Everyone gives in blessing and receives blessing by being part of that diverse community.
Our students aren't just learning reading and math. We say, no, the humanities, arts, music, those are all very, very important.
We believe in the Holy Spirit, who with the Father and the Son is worshipped and glorified.
We think there's no substitute for studying the wisdom of the ages, but we also believe that children were created by God to become new creators of things that are true and beautiful and good.
No matter what we're studying that's been created, it's automatically a reflection of Him and to glorify Him.
God made this good world, and we were made to delight in it and deeply study it and worship Him as a result. And we want that to permeate our children, and they're prepared to bring the reconciliation and hope and tenderness that God invites them to live out.